Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we will be reading The First Human Death, made by amphicoelias. Thanks for the writer's permission. The link for the story is in the description and I hope you'll enjoy. Let's begin. Death stepped out of the portal. This was sadly not the quiet part of Africa. The air was filled with the chirping of birds, humming of insects, and the distant screeches of even more animals. Death preferred the quieter environments. He preferred to treat his clients in tranquility. It was better for the client and better for him. Now, where was that client? Ah yes, follow the screams. Look for the red on green contrast. That tends to work. His client was a bipedal creature, about half a meter shorter than him, and though evolution was apparently trying to get rid of that, still quite hairy. Death had treated many of these creatures in the past. He had seen them evolve, first up the trees, then back down again. It was interesting to see, but all life was interesting. Nature was a capable artist. Yet, something seemed different about this one. It was lying on the ground, grasping its right leg. It must have fallen from some height, for the leg was badly broken, with the bones sticking out in several places. His client was clearly bleeding out. And yet it looked directly at him. "Ah, you can see me. That's interesting," Death said. His client looked up, frightened. "Who are you?" It reached over to a tool lying some distance away. Some sort of hunting implement, Death judged. Remarkable! Death thought it should be far too weak to attempt any sort of defense. "Oh, how terribly rude of me," Death said. "I forgot to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Death. I have come to take you with me." "Thank God! I thought help was never coming. What tribe are you from? I've never seen you before." "How interesting! It must be capable of thinking abstractly. It can think about life, and thus death as concepts distinct from itself. So it is capable of seeing me, but since it is the first like this to die, nobody has taught it what I am." "I'm afraid you misunderstand," he said. "I am Death. I have not come to help you. All help is too late for you. Your life has come to an end. I have come to take you to what's beyond." "What is beyond?" His client looked up at his face hopefully. "Is life there easier than here?" Death smiled. "I'm afraid you misunderstand. There is no life beyond life. Beyond life is beyond life." Yes, but is it better there?" "It is not very much of anything. Beyond life is the void, non-existence. There are no rivers of milk and honey, nor lakes of fire. Beyond life is nothing. You will simply cease to exist." His client crossed its arms. "Then I'm not coming." "You appear to be under the false impression that you have a choice in this. You do not. Nobody escapes death." His client gave him a defiant look. "I can try, no?" Death smiled again. "I guess you can. Yes, it just won't be much use." Death reached out a hand towards his client. An arrow embedded itself in it. Death turned his hand and looked at it. The arrow was stuck between two of the small bones in his palm. His smile disappeared. "You have quite good aim, human, but it is no use." Another arrow struck his face, bouncing off of it. Death frowned. "As I was trying to say, human, it is of no use. I am Death. You cannot kill me. I am immortal. What would that even mean, killing Death? Do you expect me to come and take myself into the void?" "It's possible." The human fired another arrow. Death made a small gesture with his hand. The human's arrow stopped in mid-air, then crumbled to dust. Another small gesture, and the same happened to his bow. "Look, this isn't how things are done. I am Death. Life does not resist me. I'm an inevitable part of it. Animals, plants, fungi, microbes, they all die. Everybody dies, and so will you. You have no choice in this. You can only choose whether you come with me peacefully or whether I have to drag you into the void by force." "Force it is then." The human picked up one of the remaining arrows and threw it like a spear. Death sighed as the arrow uselessly bounced off his body. "Look, I can appreciate that I seem threatening, but I really try to have a good relationship with my clients. Of course I understand that my job is to take you into the void, and I understand that the void seems scary, but it doesn't have to be. You have lived your life. It has come to an end. If you struggle, you will only feel the pain for longer." The human looked at its leg and winced. Then it looked back at him, determined. The pain will go away. It won't, human! Death was starting to get annoyed. Even if your leg did heal, it is broken in 17 different places. That's not to mention the microscopic ones. And none of them are clean fractures. You will never be able to walk on that leg again, and it will hurt forever. I'll make do. And what of your tribe? You won't be able to hunt. You'll be a useless brick, lying around and dragging down their survival chances. If I'm so terrible, why would you have me visit them sooner than necessary? I'd make myself useful some way or another. I could teach the younglings to use a bow. Hell, I'd even help the woman cook. The human smiled. Death rubbed his temple. Clearly, reason is a foreign concept to you. He lifted his scythe and tapped it against the ground. A portal opened. If it's the hard way you want, the hard way it will be. He went over to the human and tried to lift it up, but it had crawled over to a nearby tree and was holding on tight. Death tried pulling it, but it would not loosen its grip. He even tried pulling on the injured leg, but though the human cried in agony, it still would not budge. Death let go. You're stubborn, I'll give you that much. But as I said, I am Death. Nobody escapes me. He stood up and tapped his side against the floor again. A powerful sucking force started coming from the portal. The pull will keep getting stronger until you let go. Give up now, human. You cannot win this. It's impossible. You're lying. The human still would not let loose, but as the force became stronger, it proved unable to resist any longer and started slipping. There's always a way. We will win in the end. Death sighed. I'm sorry this first conscious encounter with your species had to go like this. I'm sure given enough time, your descendants will come to think of me the way I am, as an inevitable part of life. Never, the human cried, before its grip finally gave way and it tumbled into the portal. As it was sucked in, it cried again. Never! The portal closed and the tranquility returned to the land. Death looked at the scene that had been left behind. He looked at the large puddle of blood, at the human's bow, now dust, at the arrows lying in front of him, and at the one stuck in his hand. They were primitive tools, crude and ineffective in a fight against death, but these creatures seemed to be on the path towards greater intelligence. What weapons would they come up with in the future? Death sighed. Are all of you going to be this much of a bother? That was the end of the story. Thank you so very much to Commodore Goat for supporting me on Patreon, and thank you all for listening. I'm glad to still have you here. No idea why Death is British, but it was fun to try. I hope you enjoyed. If you have stuck around, go and show your appreciation to the writer on HFY. I hope you're having a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.